do quick play or comp?
Well, if we're gonna do quick play, we might as well just let me get in game, but competitive might be a little bit better.
Okay.
Are you diamond now?
No,
No.
have you been noticing Overwatch like internet just disconnecting or Overwatch's servers going down a lot?
Um,
Because I've
no,
it's happened to me. Oh,
not really.
yeah, it's been happening to me a lot, and I think every game I've tried to play, like I've started quick play and I've tried, and then these two games it's been fine, but all of these Overwatch like disconnected. Like all of these Overwatch is just like disconnected me from the game, and I know someone else that's been having the issue, so it might not be me, but also might just be me.
I would look it up like on the forums because I know personally I had something where like for a week straight I had a like over 100 ping on my regular service, but it was because of like my service providers or something along those lines. So yeah, I'd look it up, see what you can find on the forums.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah. Apparently, the servers in LA are like really bad now. So that's gonna be okay. So into this map. That's the one thing I don't like. I understand. I just don't understand like game in like the like in general. I guess like in this comp, what should I pick? Like what's a good?
Okay, so right now we're running dive DPS, and this is also city center. Dive is very good on this map. Um, the stream's lagging out a little bit. We might after this game. I think
Uh,
we can swap over to quick play spectating. Um,
okay. I think maybe Winston. Or actually, yeah. I would say Winston or Ball. That would I would say. Into especially Sigma ult for Ball. Um, but I've come to notice playing a game around your ult isn't good. If you can't win a fight without your ult, then that's not very good.
yeah,
Okay. Um, by himself? Oh, he might be by himself. And as Winston, like, what do I look for?
you look to soft dive, get ult charge, do a lot of cleave damage, but you never really want to hard engage unless you see somebody that's isolated or low.
Okay.
So you keep on a like you want to get close enough where you can Tesla them, but just play very safe. You can jump away if you need to.
Oh, okay.
You're playing almost too passive right now. You've barely taken any damage. Just make sure you're getting in there a little bit more. Actually Teslaing people, getting in a lot of cleave damage. And then when you are low,
Okay.
make sure that you're bubbling or jumping out of there. But you
Okay.
played really passive there to begin with, which meant that you weren't really getting anything done. You weren't creating space. You weren't getting damage in. Um, so you're gonna be just kind of getting in there. Preferably, you don't. Typically, you're not gonna like jump in there. You're just gonna kind of walk up to them, and then you can jump away if you need to.
Okay.
And make sure you're placing. If you're placing your bubble, you're placing it where you're not gonna have to run out of it in 2 seconds. Because
Okay.
you're placing it down, and then you're immediately walking out of it. So rather than doing that, just hold on to it for when you actually need it.
Okay.
Also, potentially here, instead of attempting to go on the tanks, look to more get on their backline, because that'll pressure them to turn around and help their backline too. Just make sure, again, you're not hard committing on anything. You're kind of just attempting to get in, distract them, and then get out.
Okay.
But if you're just doing it on the
So
Reinhardt, he's never going to die or take damage or anything like that.
yeah. Okay.
You can probably leap above them on the high ground and then just kind of hit them from above, or drop on them from above. It would be a really easy option. There, rather than primaling it immediately, go in with the nano, and then you can use that to kind of keep you alive. And then if you get like kind of go in hard with the nano, sorry, going hard with the nano, and then once you get low, then you can primal to keep yourself alive. That's kind of
Okay,
once you
so
have,
yeah, once you get low.
yep,
Okay.
rather than immediately. That's what you can always do when you have a primal up is then you can, once you have primal, you can start to hard commit on stuff because you have that get out of jail free card, which is your 1000 HP, multiple jumps ultimate.
Okay. So I can be a little more aggressive when I have my when I have primal up.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Make sure you're continuously just kind of testing people if they're within their range. You don't want to not be damaging.
Well, I should have waited for shield at least. Oh
And make
wait.
sure you're watching your health. You're getting heals up, and only if support's alive, so you can go for mega or go for health packs, which there's one near cars. So just
Oh,
watch out for health packs and look to get them.
okay, yeah. See. That's kind of what I noticed because the second I got into plat on tank, everyone started playing really passively, and I was like, huh, okay. I started more adopting that instead of like playing more aggressive like how I used to.
Yep. We also don't want to be standing still doing nothing for extended periods of time. So, you're not playing passive doesn't mean that you don't really doesn't mean that you're not going to be doing nothing the whole game. You're just looking for opportunities to do things.
Okay, so more not just like waiting for something to happen, but making something happen instead.
Yeah, so you're poking, you're prodding. If you see somebody that's low, or if you see somebody that's isolated on their own, then you can go on them. Especially like if you're on the monkey here, a lot of it's just gonna be try to hang out on their back in their backline on squishy targets, and then once you get low, you jump away. Um,
Okay.
use bubble when you're going in. Don't just plop bubble down and like nowhere really. You want to use it to protect yourself, or you cut off healing from their team. Here we can swap over to Reinhardt.
That's also what I noticed. I don't really like playing Ryan into like gold and below because I don't see as much results because I can't brawl as much because I either don't have a Zarya or I don't have the supports focusing
Which
when I'm brawling.
if you learn how to use positioning wisely, use your
Yeah.
shield, then really you're not gonna be taking as much damage. Like the other day, just for example, like we had pugs where we had a lot of like lower SR player people with us. So I'm playing Reinhardt, and it's not going to be much of a struggle for me, even if we don't have good healers on our team, because I just know how to play cover correctly.
Yeah, that's the one thing I want to take it to like a further level. Like, is it just playing behind you're playing behind this corner? Like my shield's down, I can tell my team I get behind the corner. Um, but I think maybe yeah, like this situation. Um, I don't know. I find it a little harder just to find cover sometimes. Especially on maps like Anubis.
Okay, so while you were talking, you missed a lot of opportunities where you were up people to push forward aggressively. When you're up people, that means you have an advantage, and you want to be pushing forward to kill the rest of the people. I think you got 2 different picks, and you were just kind of sitting there on point swinging, whereas you could have been pushing forward to clean up on those picks.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't really know when to be aggressive, when to not be aggressive.
Yep.
That's the one thing I don't.
That's going to be watching kill feed, because kill feed will let you know if you're up or down people. Right now you're down your echo, so you
Yeah.
are at a disadvantage. So if you're at a disadvantage, you're probably gonna want to play passive or back up. Now you got a pick, so you can be a little more aggressive. You nanoed your brig, you push forward with her. They're high nooning, you want to back up, get around the corner. Don't stand there out in the open. Okay, high noon's down. We don't have any shield, so we probably want to be recharging our shield. Yeah, we have pretty much all
Oh,
our
Tracer
shield.
got
We
a
can push
pick.
forward. Okay, Zarya's out of position. We focus for Zarya. We got grabbed. We are just hard shielding.
Reaper top, Reaper top, Reaper top.
Oh, we lost.
Okay, yep. Make sure when you
I'm
know
not worried
you
about the
lost there,
Reaper.
you're not
I'm worried about
attempting
the
to stay
bridge.
alive longer, because that's gonna get you staggered. You're just going to be extending your death, and then now look at where your team's at by the time that you're walking out of spawn.
You know
They're
what?
already way ahead of you, which is gonna mean that they're walking in without you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I can't change
So
heroes.
watch kill feed. If you're up, you're walking in. If you're down, you're backing out. Last fight, make sure we're using Shatter. They do not have shields. You just have to worry about Monkey Bubble and Sorry Bubbles.
Yeah, I played myself.
Yep. Just make sure you're letting Zarya get them out, or you're making it so that Zarya is just not directly in your face when you're shattering.
Okay.
She just blocked it by bubbling. Either you wait the bubble out, or you just back up and make sure that you're hitting people besides just the Zarya.
Okay. So, alright, yeah, that's why I really wanna learn how to be like a more aggressive, knowing when to push and stuff, because when I usually play really passively and I notice that just doesn't win anything.
Yeah, I'll go into a lot of demonstrations after this game's done. When we actually start doing quick play stuff, I'll up into training range.
Okay, okay. She wanna put monkey on this map.
Okay. Make sure that we are pressuring the back line. The people who are tickle cannon will do the most against. Try to get as many people as you can in it. Just be ready to get out at a moment's notice. Okay, overextending. Get away from the Reaper. Good job. You see bubble. As soon as you see that you're turning that corner and you're coming up against two people, you're going to want to drop bubble immediately. You don't want
Okay.
them to be able to see you, and if you drop that bubble, then that possibly interrupts Kree flashbang and whatnot.
Okay, yeah. That's one thing I see is I usually either get flash before I go in or I get flash after.
I might be going bottom right.
Too long?
Gonna rotate up top.
Oh, he's not alone.
Okay, make sure you're cleaving the most possible. You can hit all 6 people with your gun if you're correctly using it. Make sure that you're staying within range of people. You'll see the electricity will kind of hit them. You'll get the damage markers. A lot of the time where you're peeking around the corner, you weren't really hitting a lot of people. You just have to make sure you're staying in the range of your cannon.
Hmm. Okay.
Reaper on right. And on right as well. I'm a creep.
Okay, very good. Very nice 5k. So in that, like overall so far, I'd probably say you play a little too passive and you just want to be in there a little bit more often. playing passive doesn't mean that you never go in. Playing passive just means that you're going in with the intent of staying alive. So even if you're playing passive, you still need to be actually in there to be doing damage, to be creating space. And just so far within this game, you've been a little too passive. But then within that final like 2 fights, you did really good. You went in with your nano and you killed 5 people, and then you also went with your primal and grouped some people around, got some kills. So those final 2 fights were a lot better than the rest of the 2 games that you're on, because you're actually getting in there and doing things.
Okay. So just overall, just be more like way more aggressive than I actually am. Because I went in and I saw them purple. I saw that Anna either use sleep or nade, and I waited till they were all in that area.
All right.
Because I don't wanna do that when Anna's in.
So I am streaming Overwatch.
Okay.
Let me know when you're there.
Okay, I see it.
Alright, so we're gonna go over Monkey real quick. So
Imagination
on our Monkey,
is the essence of discovery.
we're mainly just going to be sitting in the backline the whole time. So we're looking to get in and then get out. A lot of the time, if we are on defense or we have the positioning already, which let's say on a control point, if you are defending point, you're on defense. So a lot of the time what you can do is take control of high grounds. This is why dive is very good on high grounds, is that you can just not have to use your jump to get down to them. So you can let them walk underneath you, drop to them, you can bubble, you can get a lot of damage in. If you get low, then you can just jump back up to high ground. So you're in and you're out and you're safe, and then you can get healed up by your team, and then you can do the same thing again. You can go back in. Again, make sure you're looking to get as many people as possible in your Tesla cannon, because you can hit multiple people at once. So over here and demonstrate that. Okay, so 1 person, 2 people. You'll see the Tesla cannon will hit both of them here.
Okay.
So you need to make sure that you're just damaging both of them. 1 person, you see his health going down. 2 people, both their healths are going down. Okay. Gonna do the same amount of damage to both of them, even if you only see like 1 strand of lightning going to them. Okay. So we're just gonna go in. We're gonna go in. Wait for our wait for an opportunity. That could be our ultimate. That could be somebody getting low. That could be somebody off on their own. Like if we see we're going in here and then we're fighting and nothing's dying, and then all of a sudden we see this guy over here, and then we just come over here and kill them because they're off on their own and they can't really do anything against the dive. And then we can go back in. We can ult. With your ult, you attempt to pin people into walls. Is kind of, unless there's places to boop them off, you're gonna pin them into walls. Just try to juggle them over there as fast as possible. We can probably swap over to Ryan now.
So is it good to combo your jumps with your melee?
Yes, because jumps do damage.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So especially in Prival, or even in regular form, it's jump melee, or is it melee jump?
It's jump melee. So we're gonna come in here. Did you see how that canceled?
Yeah, it animation cancel.
Yeah,
I still need to get the timing down on that.
Yeah. What? Oh, I was like, where'd they go? So yeah, you're gonna jump melee, and that's just gonna do a whole bunch of damage to multiple people at once.
Okay, yeah.
Now you are the endangered species.
Okay, we're gonna go Ryan now. A few different things on Ryan here. We're going to cover. First off, are you aware of how to shield hop?
Yeah, I know the shield hop.
Okay, well then that is something I would like to see you doing a lot more. So shield hopping, when shield hopping is going to be useful, is when you have to push into the enemy teams, or if you're low and you're trying to back out. So whenever you're moving somewhere fast, you want to be shield hopping. So shield obviously is going to be moving very slowly. Takes us a long time to move forward if we're just holding down shield. On the other hand, if we're coming over here and we're shield hopping in, we're going to be moving a lot faster. We're on top of them faster. So that means that we're taking less damage. The faster we're taking space, the less damage we're taking. So let's say we'll go over positioning real quick before we go over that. If we're standing right here, this is a bad position, because even if we have our shield, if that 6 people, they're high nooning, they diva bomb, our shield's broken, it takes us 1, 2, 3 seconds to get behind cover, which means that we're dead in that time. Okay. Instead, we could be standing right here, where it takes us half a second to get behind cover. We've already probably gone over this before. You know how to use cover, but what happens if you need to push down this corridor? Because there are going to be corridors that you need to push down. Well, in that case, we don't want to be there as long as possible. We want to be shield hopping so that we're getting to the other side of the corridor as fast as possible, and so that we can get on top of them and swing. The same way, if let's say you're down somebody, or you're low, or they're using ultimates and you're trying to back up really fast, you can use shield hop like this. If you're very low HP, then you can full shield, or somebody on your team is low HP, then you can full shield. But if you're just using it for the mobility, which is what you're going to be shield hopping for, then you can shield hop. The other advantage of shield hopping is it rotates the damage between your shield and you, so that your shield will be taking a lot less damage. So now, come over here. I believe, back when we did our last coaching session, did we actually go over tank?
I think we went over tank, yeah.
Over tank? Okay.
Don't worry, my friends.
Well, I think
am your shield.
I'm just gonna re-over this just in case this is just as a refresher or whatever, if you don't recall it at all. But if we're holding right here, rather than holding right here, this does two things. One, we're already at the good positioning because we have the corner. The second thing is now only half of our shield is visible. So that means that our shield will be taking a lot less damage because it can't be spammed as much with random spam damage. So that'll keep our shield health up. Your fire strike has a charge up time, so you can charge it up and then peek around the corner like so. So that way you don't actually have to stand out here for long periods of time. Coming up here. Coming out on the spot, swinging on him. Trying to find the swing distance. Okay. Okay, so if we swing on the spot directly, we can hit them. If we look to the side, we can't hit them. So your swings actually have more range on the side of the hitbox rather than in the very front of the hitbox. So if you're swinging your camera while you're swinging, you can do multiple things here. You can hit multiple people at once, and then you also are going to be getting the extra reach with it as well. So make sure that when you're swinging, you can. The very simple way to do it is just go with your hammer. Just swing each way here, and then you can hit multiple people. With the shatter, come down here. Your shatter's a cone, so if you're looking for a shatter, you need to make sure that you... So, sorry, your shatter's a cone, so the farther away they are, the more people it's going to hit. If we're up here, and we're shattering, like, kind of right on top of him... Or, sorry, we'll find a different example. We're coming back up here. The spots are moving, so it'll be more difficult. So if we shatter right here, we don't hit either of them. Okay. So we're gonna charge that shatter back up.
Double kill. Double kill. Double kill. Double
Okay, so
kill.
now if we back up a little bit, even though, like, let's say just here, now we're actually going to be able to hit them because we backed up and it's a cone, so it's going outwards. So instead of doing it while they're right next to us, we might actually want to back up to give more space to our shatter. So that's a good example of, let's say, when the Zarya was on top of you. You did it when the Zarya is right here, which meant that the Zarya just bubbled and blocked your entire shatter. Instead, you could have maybe backed up and gone for somebody who wasn't just the Zarya. Okay, so that pretty much wraps us up here. You can probably go and queue up in a quick play game.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, you can stop streaming. I'm gonna, do I have you on my main? I think I might have to log on my alt.
I think I have you on my alt, not my main.
Okay.
I think I have your main on my alt, not my main.
Wait, so Okay, can you just give me
Yeah.
your thing then? This, I don't know who that is.
Traveling to Horizon Luna Colony.
For this map, oh, I don't like this map. Okay, I will try Winston on this map to practice more. Actually, what are tanks that you recommend to that can
So, on what are you on attack or defense here? I can't see.
attack?
So, dive can very easily get up to the high grounds. Especially I'd say at lower ranks where you're not gonna have any coordination when it comes to
My ultimate is
rotating. Dive is probably gonna be one of the best options because you can instantly get up to the high ground. Other than that, you can brawl. Spam might be a little bit difficult because you can, if you're running like a Rissa Sig, you can't really take space effectively if they're just holding you at a jump for the high grounds or something like that.
Okay. So, for royal characters, like, you recommend like Winston or because I see a lot of people playing ball on this.
So Ball, what Ball can do is he can roll around and boot people off high ground, which is very effective if they're all holding very close to the edge. So Ball would be a good pick as well. Make sure, maybe walk a little bit inwards and then jump off rather than trying to leap the distance. Know your leap distance.
Yeah, I need to learn leap distance. The one thing I struggle
So
with.
that was within your distance. You just need to look up more when you're leaping because you're gonna get more height if you're looking up. So try jumping while you're looking up in the air.
Wait, what?
This will protect us.
Okay, try not to reload if you have people that you can actively be shooting at. Only if you're ducking around the corners or whatnot. Sorry, ducking around the corners or the fight's done. Something like that. Making sure I'm getting the Reinhardt. You're gonna rest it. Okay, so now you're up 2. You do have some people respawning. So they have very far spawns here. You can maybe wait for your team to get back a little bit, but then just make sure you're engaging like as soon as we're all slightly back. Because we want to go in before the players get back. Okay. Make sure that if you're immediately going to be leaving your bubble, that you're not bubbling. Unless there's an edge, make sure you're looking for targets that you can actually kill with your primal. So tanks aren't going to be the best. Doom's not going to be the best. Supports though, or Junkrat, probably are going to be really good targets that you can just do a lot of damage on. So unless there's an edge or something that you can knock people off, focus the squishier targets.
Okay.
Something else you can do is also just boop Ryan away from the fight and then leave him there. Because you're not going to be able to kill him very easily, but you can just make sure that he's not going to get any value by pushing him away from the fight.
Okay.
This will protect us.
Good job getting out there.
Repairing the damage.
I'm waiting for my jump pack. Oh, okay. Thanks. And Actually.
Barrier activated.
Okay.
Ooh.
Jumping.
that was
We want to
good.
be jumping out with that jump, not jumping in if we're low HP.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's one thing
change
I
your health.
don't. Okay. Let's see.
Through the miracle of science.
Like it's all with monkeys a lot about survivability. You want to be doing as much as possible while also being alive, because he doesn't have a lot of burst damage, but he does have a lot of consistent damage. And you can cut off Ryan's healing by dropping a bubble. Bubble will stop healing from being able to get to him. Okay, go in aggro, you're up people. Watch kill feed.
I've reached the objective. Let's coordinate.
Supports now.
Pardon me.
Make sure you're getting into a corner and you're not leaping past her. Try not to let Ryan charge you. Just like maybe leap up in the air real quick just to dodge it out.
Barrier activated.
Good job cutting off the healing to him. Kill the Ana next. Okay. Now we want to focus the Mercy over the Doomfist. There's a Mercy here. Doomfist has the more survivability, and if a Mercy's pocketing him, he's not going to die very fast. Go for the very easy killable targets. So yes, Echo's a really good target here. Add in melees to finish people off. It's going to do more burst damage than your Tesla cannon. Your Tesla cannon will do more consistent damage, so if you're talking about over time, your Tesla will... So if you were just pure out meleeing somebody, or Teslaing them, it will do the same amount of damage at the, like kind of over the same amount of time, but your melee is a burst, so it will, if you're using it for the last little bit of their health, it will be the best way to finish them off. So make sure that you're finishing them off with a melee to kill them faster.
Okay, yeah. I feel like I do it sometimes, but I don't do it a lot.
Yep. So watch health bars, make sure you're paying attention to that. That was, honestly, since your first game, your monkey's been a lot better. Just keep it up. Make sure that you're basically consistently in, you're consistently out, you're making sure you're putting out a lot of damage, but then also staying alive. And then you can maybe go in more aggressively when you see opportunities where people are isolated, when people don't have abilities, when people are low. If you're on a landed a big purple, your team's using ultimates, but then also watch kill feed as well. That's one thing I had to let you know that you need to go in fast because you were up people. If you're going to slowly walk into the fight, when you're up people, it's going to mean that you're going to lose the advantage because they'll just respawn.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have anything to go over in training range, so you can probably just hop into another game.
Okay. I'll try Ryan this game if I get a good map. Yeah. I wanna oh, this will be fun. Also wanna learn off tanks as well because even though I placed for main tank and I got it, I want to also learn like stuff like Zarya and I think mostly just Zarya because
So
I think I know.
You'd like to learn Zarya, it's the kind of your main point.
Yeah, basically. Of the option, because I've tried to understand like how this it's sort of like the game works in a sense. Like, okay, supporting this like someone that's doing a lot of work and putting a lot of effort into them, like putting a lot of support into them is good, but if like you're just putting like If you're just putting your like resources into like a feeding ball or something, I know that's obviously not gonna be good. But I'm sort of want to learn like more like the stuff that seems basic, but is like it's not in my head correctly. So like, the only thing I really can understand is mechanics. Everything else I just don't understand.
Okay, good use of shield hopping, getting in there faster. Ball's on point, so we're looking to get ball off a point so we can start pushing cart. Okay, we want to be evaluating their composition first thing every game. Evaluating our composition, they have a Sombra, so we need to make sure that we are shielding her off if she's going to be hacking us. Okay, we're up 2. You have all of your health. Look to push forward really aggressively. There's nothing that can kill you if you have 500 HP and they're down 3 people. In that situation, you probably don't even need to do the shield hopping unless you're anticipating her to be using abilities on you.
I kind of thought that she was gonna use nade on me, or nade or sleep.
Okay, make sure that we're letting our shield recharge in between fights. We don't want to be constantly putting it up if it's half HP. Let that recharge even in the middle of fights so that we actually have a shield when we're fighting.
I'm hacked. He wasn't Shatter? Wait, he... Okay.
You never use Shatter.
Yeah, no, I was expecting him to Shatter being that aggressive.
So you have to pay attention to tap, pay attention to people who what they were on. That Reinhardt just swapped, so he is nowhere close to Shatter.
Okay, yeah.
So I know that just because I was paying attention to what their compositions were. If you know that they were on what they were on before, which I'm pretty sure was like a Zarya or something like that, then if you Ryan comes out of nowhere, then you know, okay, he doesn't have Shatter because he was on Zarya. Remember to let your shield recharge. You're still at half of your health from last fight. We have beat, we want to play aggressive with the beat. When you beat it, that's not a situation where you're playing passive, that's where you're going in aggressive. Pay attention to where your team's at as well. That entire fight, they were all ahead of you while you were kind of sitting in the back or in the middle of your team. You're gonna get a lot of value there because you were kind of sitting in the middle of the fight, not really doing anything. Okay. Make sure you're adding in a charge there, so if you see that your hammer swings are not going to kill them, right before they stand up, add in a charge. You have time for about 2 hammer swings and a charge before they stand up.
Okay.
Our duty is to move the payload. Get to it.
Allow me
Okay, make sure we're watching out for Sombra.
get into position.
Very good charge. Don't be afraid to use your charge as long as it's good short charges that aren't going to get you killed. When did their Reinhardt shatter last?
Like last fight, he doesn't have it. He hasn't been putting enough, so he doesn't have it. There's no way he has it.
Enemy is back there.
What was that about Reinhardt not having it?
Maybe.
Let's make sure you're watching out for it. He used to shatter right after you shattered.
Moving the payload. Join me.
Everyone follow me. Get into position. Here it comes. Not ready.
If we know that they're most likely coming out of top right, and we're a close range hero, we want to be positioning ourselves to where we can be in close range, where we can brawl, to stand underneath the high ground rather than standing really far away. Oh, and I just turned my monitor off. 1 second.
Barriers on you. Go.
Make sure fire is striking off cooldown. Trying to get that shatter back up. He shattered before you. He is probably very close to another shatter.
Rains from above.
Don't worry, my friend. I have your shield.
Okay. Very good shatters this game. Nothing really to complain about when it comes to that. Okay. Who is up in this fight?
Oh, Doomfist. Wait, he just switched. Okay.
I'm saying out of player count, who has more players alive in the fight?
I think we lost 2.
Yep. But before that, we had a lot more players
Yeah,
than
we had a
them,
lot more.
but we weren't pushing forward to kill them. When we push forward to kill them and we're up people, that staggers them to where they're coming out of spawn super late, so we're getting late picks, which is very good for us. If we're not pushing forward, then we don't get those late picks, and then they all come out as a team, and they can continuously poke us for free. So make sure that we're up 2, like now, we're pushing forward aggressively into the... We're not sitting around.
Fire's will.
You're unacceptable. I shall seize the payload safely to its destination.
Okay. Watch the spawns. There's people contesting point. Look at point. Good shatter. Focus the people on point. Don't push past point.
Enemy contact.
Okay, again, we tried to run past point, so there are scenarios where we can run past point, but that's if there's not already people stalling point out. So if, for example, we just team wiped them and we need to get car forward, we can run towards their spawn and then stall out the doorway, which will mean that we can kind of stall them from even getting the point in the first place. But if they're continuously stalling out point, we want to be on point so that we can kill them.
Okay.
Okay, I'd say probably one of the biggest things that you struggle with is understanding, like you were saying before, understanding the like when to be aggressive, when to play passive, and that's probably one of the biggest ways to understand when to be aggressive and when to play passive is by knowing the flow of the fight, which comes from watching kill feed. Pay attention to information about around you. If you're up 1 person, that's an advantage. You didn't win yet. You didn't lose. If you're up 2 people, that's pretty much a 1 fight. In the same way, if you're down a person, you didn't lose yet, but you're at a disadvantage. If you are down 2 people, you basically lost the fight already. Okay, unless
Yeah.
you
Oh.
need to win the fight because it's like last fight, or it's the last point of a map, or they're dedicating a ton of ultimates and you need to maybe use some to stop them from winning the fight. Most of the time, that's gonna mean the end of the fight if you're up 2 people. But if you do not go in and finish off the kills when you're up 2 people, that means that the other 4 have 1, the potential to swing the fight back around, and 2, they have the potential that if you don't stagger them,
Now
then they're
entering
going
the temple.
to
Prepare your defenses.
basically you're wasting a lot of
Select
ult
your
charge you can be
hero.
getting. You're wasting time on the time bank, where now they're gonna be able to come back and recontest you faster on the cart because you didn't go and finish them off.
Okay. So that's okay. So I think yeah, that's the one thing I also struggle with is tunnel vision. So I need to try and look around more and just be more aware of what's going on.
Yep, look around with your mouse, look around on your
You
screen,
said you would
watch
come
your
back.
ammo, watch your abilities, watch your health, watch your ult charge, watch the time bank, watch
My
the kill
ultimate
feed
is
most
charging.
especially is what we've been talking about.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Okay, our number 1 biggest thing that we're looking to get here is energy. Okay? And that's gonna come when we know that we see damage incoming, is when we're gonna be using bubbles.
Ready for battle. Don't be shy.
Okay? Don't drop there because that happens. Okay?
Yeah.
Can't drop off high ground and let them run into you for free, because then you're gonna get insta melted. So stay up on the high ground and then you can melt them as they're trying to run in.
I am
Okay.
still in the fight.
You saw how much value that got, so now in the future, when you're in that same position, you're gonna know, okay, I'm not gonna jump into them. Go along the left side there when you come back from spawn, because it'll just be faster. Oh, that doesn't lead the point.
Oh yeah. I have no clue. Oh, wait. It's still very good. No we.
Barrier activated.
Okay, if she's not
Wait.
looking at us and she's not shooting at us, that bubble gets wasted, because now it's on cooldown, okay? So you need to make sure that she's looking at you, you need to make sure that she's actually shooting before you're using your bubble. So when you see a lot of damage incoming, when you see projectiles incoming, then that's when you can bubble.
Sniper, be ready.
Ready.
Barriers on. Don't hold back.
Very good, you use your bubbles a little bit better there when you're actually about to take damage. Okay, so there, unfortunately, we got ulted.
Don't count me out.
Make sure we're constantly outputting damage. We shouldn't ever not be holding down left click or right click. Really, ever. Unless you're walking back from spawn.
Sniper, be ready.
Make sure you're using cover to get out of her LOS. You can't really contest her unless you're like 100 energy and you land some right clicks on her. Use your bubbles. Your bubbles
Yeah.
will stop freeze from freezing you, so you can just run out of it.
Okay.
And then you also shouldn't be dying with bubbles really ever. If you have a bubble up and you're about to die, use it.
Okay.
Bubbles are the most important part of your kit and the thing that you should be putting probably 70% of your brain power into. If you're getting good bubbles off, you're getting protection for your team. You are getting energy. Energy transfers into damage. Damage transfers into kills. Kills transfer into fight wins, and fight wins transfer into game wins. If you're getting better bubbles off and more energy, then you're gonna be winning more games.
Okay.
You're covered.
And make sure Ryan's running in when you're using your bubbles. He likes to back out when you bubble him, but just make sure that you're bubbling him when he's actually in there brawling. Because if you're gonna bubble him and then he's immediately gonna back up.
Get in there.
Yeah, if you're gonna bubble him and then he's gonna immediately back up, then your bubble just gets immediately less value. So just kind of watch for him when he's going in, watch for him when he's backing out. Okay, they have a Junkrat now. We're pressing tab, which we should be in between every single fight, just to see information like that. We now know we can get a lot of easy charge off of just that Junkrat spam that's coming in, because they're projectiles and we can see them coming in. Good job using that bubble to help him out. That was a good example of immediate change that you implemented from half of the game to the other half of the game. You weren't aware that that was the thing, or you didn't think about it before, but then you did end up doing it that fight, which helped your Torb out. Okay. Now we have grab. We need to make sure that we're using that and not holding on to it for 3 fights in a row. So here, things to watch out for. The major thing is the D.Va eat. So you can't let your grab get eaten. So make sure you're not lobbing it. It should be very short distance from your grab to the object that it's hitting. You can do it if D.Va gets defect. You can do it if D.Va's not looking at you, or if she runs away from you.
Yeah, I used it there because I know she used defense matrix.
Yep, which is fine. You just got a little too aggressive, which ended up in you dying. Which, if you're at 100 energy, isn't the best thing, because now you lost all that energy you just got.
Yeah.
Best shot. That's more like it.
Yeah, bubbles are getting a little bit better. Getting more energy than you were at the start of the game. Good bubble.
Get in there. I am strong. I am on fire.
Make sure that if you see that Mercy resing, you're not turning away from her. Right clicks could be used for distance. If they're too far away for a left click, you're right clicking, or to finish off targets. Like we talked about with melees, right click is burst damage, but it is not ammo efficient. So you're only going to be right clicking to finish off kills, or if they're too far away to left click. Not good. And you can also right click melee, which is very good combo to burst down somebody. It's gonna get a good amount of energy. Oh, you could have potentially just bubbled over that.
Ready for battle.
Bubble him when he's being swung on. Okay, they're walking. If you see where your teammates are at, if you walk in front of it, it'll block the line of sight so that it doesn't hit the people behind you. So potentially there with your Reinhardt, if you see that the Reinhardt doesn't have a shield or he's not looking at it, then you can walk in front of it so that it blocks the Reinhardt too.
Okay, actually, okay, I didn't know that. All right, I will try that more often.
Okay.
So I know you could do it. I know you can do it with I know you can do it with Reinhardt Shatter as well.
Yeah. Grab it. Again, make sure if we're using our left click won't be in by D.Va, but our right click will. So if you're gonna be right clicking, make sure that the D.Va's not eating you.
Duplicating D.Va.
Give me your best shot.
I'm back in the fight. You're powered up. Get in there. Let's get you back out of the self-destruct sequence. Enemy contact. to learn how I'm on fire. Double kill.
Remember, right-click melee to finish off low targets. Good job staying alive when you're at 100 energy, but then also when you're low, potentially request healing more so you can get back in the fight faster, rather than sitting out of the fight for long
Play
periods of time.
the game.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess let's try and think. Yeah, we can probably hop into another game. We have 4 minutes left, so I don't know if we can actually. You have tank use, so we probably go over like half a game or something like that.
Yeah. Tank usually like 2 minutes.
Yeah, so we might not actually get to go over much of one then. Do you have any? Maybe don't hop in the queue then. Do you have any questions about anything we've gone over?
I don't really have well, I want it for Zarya at least. Is there like a way to get into like a sort of like tempo state, like knowing like is there like an easier way, or is it just like really understanding like when they're gonna use it?
Can you rephrase the question? What do you mean by tempo stage?
Like sort of like a state where like you have that sort of like tempo like when you're gonna use bubble, like okay, like sort of like a pattern, but a more like free flow state sort of.
So
I guess.
you're wondering when you should be using bubble?
Yeah, or is like a way to know like especially for something like Reinhardt Shatter, is there a way to like predict them a little more easier or like stuff like that?
It's
So
all,
like I know when to use
Yeah.
bubble better.
It's all about kind of body language, if that makes sense. So when people in Overwatch are going to be doing things, you have to kind of read their body language and how they're playing. So, for example, if we're talking about like the one point where can I go back and watch? I don't think I can watch your game, but if we're thinking back to the game you just played, where the diva was just sorry, I don't know if you're gonna remember this spot, but in the first point where it was just the diva and you used a bubble, and I commented on it saying, well, the diva wasn't looking at you, the diva wasn't shooting, so you shouldn't have used bubble. So you can evaluate if diva's about to be damaging you based on if she's looking at you. Is diva looking at you? Is she looking away from you? Is diva actively shooting? Is she using her missiles? So do you see a lot of damage incoming? Do you have a lot of people looking at you? With a Reinhardt, you can Reinhardts have what's called tells, so you have that kind of term in like poker. So you know, based off of how they're acting, they're going for the shatter because they're holding shield up more often than they usually do. Maybe they're dropping shield, like they're acting out of characteristic. They're dropping shield more than they have the rest of the game. They're being more aggressive. They're walking into your team. So you'll get all those kinds of things with Reinhardt. Same thing as like if they're trying to block shatter, they'll do the same thing. They'll maybe shield more often than they ever have that game, which will make it easy for you to know. Well, they're trying to just block shatter, which means I probably shouldn't shatter.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like all about reading body language, understand, like looking for damage that's incoming. You only really want to be bubbling when you see that damage is incoming. Which is going to be easy for things like there's a lot of abilities that you can use bubble for, like hook somebody, you bubble that. That gets
Okay.
you energy that saves somebody's life. Okay, they don't die and you get a lot of energy for it. Reinhardt charges somebody, you bubble them, you get a lot of energy. You have protection for your team. Your Reinhardt has 6 people looking at him, and the enemy Reinhardt's swinging at him, and you see that his health is low. That bubble gets you a lot of energy and saves the Reinhardt's life. Okay, so you can save lives with it, and then a lot of the time when you're saving people's lives, if there's a lot of people looking at them or there's being abilities used on them, it's also going to get you a lot of energy as well.
Okay, yeah. So I think I understand a little more on how to be aggressive. I think that's just my main issue. That's the one thing I don't really understand in a lot of games like that is just when to really go in and dedicate it.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording here.